Hello, Internet, and welcome to Softlock Gaming Podcast. It's actually going to be the pilot episode of this podcast because, my old podcast is defunct, and the less we talk about that, the better. I'm your host, Zephyr Zero, and joining me today is Anvil, who just could not stay silent in the background there.
Sorry, I was trying.
And UA.
I'm not even mad at him for that. That was an absolute could not control himself trigger.
Did you sneeze, Anvil? Is that what happened there?
That's why I said you can't be mad at him. That was a complete no fault of his own.
Hey, you know what? It gave me an organic segue, so you know what? I'm kind of happy for it. As I said, this is our inaugural Softlock podcast episode. As you all know, we are Duck Say Quack Entertainment, and I used to be the host of another gaming podcast with another entertainment company. Unfortunately, I did not own the IP to that gaming podcast, so I had to come up with my own, and that's where we are.
And I gotta say, we had a lot of fun coming up with this name.
The whole reason it's named Softlock is because it's a frickin' unwinnable scenario to name the damn thing.
And we were all very much in agreement on that, with the exception of one person who said that it would come off as a negative annotation, and we're like, no, this is funny as hell, and anyone who's a gamer will understand it.
Well, I mean, anyone who's a gamer who actually knows what softlocking is. It's actually something in gaming that not a lot of people know what it is.
Dusty was against it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about games.
Yeah. Actually, we're going to talk about some big gaming news recently, because that was the original intention of my gaming podcast. They just launched the PlayStation, or just announced the PlayStation 5. Didn't launch it.
Not so much announce the PlayStation 5 as announce
the
games that are going to be available. In
we got the reveal. We got the final reveal.
And we finally got the goddamn hardware going.
And on that note, I just want to say, someone pointed out recently, and I just 100% agreed with them that, the design idea is literally just a Wi-Fi router. They just made a Wi-Fi router slightly bigger.
I mean, as much as everyone's making fun of PlayStation 5's design for the Wi-Fi router look, it's leaps and bounds better than the Xbox Series X.
I disagree. I like the Xbox Series X because it's hideable.
It is a literal box.
Yeah, you stick it up in the corner of a shelf, and it's sort of hidden there.
You just hide the PlayStation 5 next to the Wi-Fi router. It's fine.
Okay, so as the prominent person in this group that is more of a Sony fanboy than a Microsoft interest, because I know that both you guys can go either way, but I've been the one who's always been behind PlayStation the whole time. When I saw this announcement for the hardware for the actual PlayStation 5 thing, yes, the Wi-Fi router did come into mind, I won't lie, but god damn, they brought the curves back and it looks sexy.
See, personally, I prefer the look of the PlayStation 2.
You would prefer the look of the PlayStation 2.
I like the corners, man.
I have to agree with UA on this one. I like my consoles with curves.
I mean,
I've always been a corners guy.
Well, let me ask you a question then, Anvil. Which would you prefer, the box for the PlayStation 2 or the 4?
I liked the 4, but I still liked the 2 better.
Okay.
The 4, it had that sort of, that kind of feel of
I don't know. The PlayStation 2 is not really my favorite just because I always felt like it looked a bit too much like a heatsink.
I can see that, but it's kind of one of the things that I liked about it.
So, one of the things that I would like to cover on the hardware for this is the fact that Sony is making two different versions of the PS5. They're making a disc-in version and an all-digital version.
Yeah, that was one of the fun things I wanted to cover on this episode specifically, was that they're specifically making an all-digital version, but they're also still making the disc drive-in version for all of us folks who prefer traditional media.
So I missed the announcement. Here's my question.
So
is there a difference in size? Is there a difference in appearance?
A little bit, yeah.
No, well, I don't know. Based off the side-by-side pictures that I've seen for it, the digital and the disc-in look like they're about the same size and same bulkiness. The only difference is that one has a disc drive and one doesn't.
So why bother making one without the disc drive?
There is a slight difference in shape based on having the disc drive and not having the disc drive.
Then again, I take that back. There's also, if you could also have it, I can see where they would put one without the disc drive and make it a little bit less expensive. But that being said, from what I've seen, it sounded like they didn't announce a starting price at all. So.
No, they didn't. No, they did not. They kept that as a tease still, so we have to wait a little bit closer to the holiday season to find out that.
Mm-hmm.
But considering the fact that there's been projections that it's going to be somewhere in the $499 range, I mean, that's where I'm expecting it to be. If it's less than that, I'll be happy.
Standard for a next-gen console.
So, one of the things...
They seem to up it by $199 or by $100 each generation.
Here's my question, because we have hardware pictures of this, but we still don't have specific specs for what's on the inside. Is the digital going to be faster? Is it going to have better processing speed? Are we still going to see backwards compatibility with the PlayStation 5? And if so, is it going to be available with both versions? Is it going to be something that you have to do for digital?
Well, they did cover a lot of those in the announcement. For right now, as we know of, for backwards compatibility, the PlayStation 5 is going to be backwards compatible with the lion's share of PlayStation 4 titles. We don't know about anything further back than that yet. They didn't comment on it, which really disappointed me because, like, the rumors going around for the PlayStation 5 was that they were going backwards compatible all the way to PlayStation 1.
That's what I had heard too. I had heard they're going all the way back to PlayStation 1, and they're also going to include PlayStation Portable and Vita titles.
But it's also entirely possible that they're holding that backwards compatibility announcement all the way back to PlayStation 1 until later in the marketing cycle to give a big boost of hype just before the holiday season.
Fair enough, especially with the present climate of everything right now.
Because
there's a lot of people who are very uncertain as to what the holiday season in general is going to look like. So I guess it makes sense for Sony to be holding a couple more things back to try to build up the hype for it when we get closer to November.
Well, they definitely, with everything going around and going on right now, they definitely don't want that hype train to stop. So they gave us the reveal. They gave us just enough information to get us interested, and they're probably going to be releasing a bunch of new information along the way to keep that hype train moving. And so I think that the backwards compatibility announcement for further backwards compatibility other than PlayStation 4 Because honestly, when they announced the console, they had to tell people that, you know, it's going to be backwards compatible for most of the PlayStation 4's catalog.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if you don't say something like that, people are going to be like, "Oh, well, you can't play old games on it. Well, that's fucking sucks." And so you don't build hype that way. This way, they've built hype, and they probably have a bunch of things in their back pocket that they can throw out to keep that hype going.
I will say I am very interested in these controllers.
Yeah, the controllers look interesting to me. I definitely want to get a hold of them and use them to see how it feels. It's different to see them using a new controller design and not the standard DualShock or DualSense. Or sorry, DualSense is the name of the new controller.
Yeah, I sniffled. My nose is running.
Okay, I'm hearing a lot of backwards noise back there, and I didn't know if you were dealing with something.
Sorry.
No, you good.
It's fine.
But yeah, I'm real interested in the haptic portion of the controller for the triggers. I'm interested in the...
I feel like the haptic feedback's going to be nice. Because, like, I don't know about you guys' phones, but my phone has haptic feedback when I type letters on the keyboard.
Yeah, same here.
And that's nice. So, like, having haptic feedback in a controller has got to be cool.
Now, as much as I enjoyed looking at the hardware for the PlayStation 5, and trust me, I enjoyed it a lot. Some of the games that got announced.
Let's be honest. The highlight of that PlayStation reveal show thing that they did was not the PlayStation 5 design itself. It was the games they announced. Because man, is the PlayStation 5 going to have some amazing launch titles.
So I want to start off by saying that the first game that they talked about, not announced, just talked about.
Hang on, I don't want to go in chronological order because I want to throw some shade first.
Well, that's what I was just about to do with my bit. But you go first.
I cannot fucking believe that we are getting a next-gen console, PlayStation 5, and they already announced Grand Theft Auto 5 for the fucking next-gen console. What's next? Skyrim?
Because I was going to point that one out too, because there was this thing that I saw just recently.
The fuck, Rockstar?
Talking about how Grand Theft Auto 5 came out how many years ago, and Rockstar Games is still milking it.
Rockstar, we love you. This has never been in doubt. All three of us are big fans of your games, but boy, you better come out with
GTA 6.
Just give us GTA 6.
You better give us something really, really good with this revamp for GTA 5. Either something in the single player or something mind-bogglingly fantastic with the multiplayer, which is going to be hard to beat considering a lot of stuff that's come out for it. But other than that, dude, I get that it's a money holder for you, but move on in the titles, dude.
It's like this is getting almost as bad as Bethesda.
But not just that. Look at it this way, though. Like, look at how much money Grand Theft Auto 5 has made you, and the fan base of Grand Theft Auto 5. Now imagine how instantaneous you're going to sell out if you made a 6.
Actually, I'll do you one better. They do a revamp of GTA Online, make it a standalone thing like with Elder Scrolls Online, and include a online version with up-to-date graphics and everything of every GTA game that has come out. You do that, you don't have to make another game ever.
That would be almost a really tall order, because we're talking like updating some really old Grand Theft Auto games here. That's a pretty. You pretty much have to build all those games from the ground up.
Well, yeah, no, you're not wrong.
But anyway, so now whatever you wanted to talk to, unless Grand Theft Auto was what you were
I
going
was going to shit on GTA.
Oh, good. Okay, good. So we were on the same page.
Yeah, no, that was the very first thing that got announced in the video was their partnership with Rockstar and the fact that they're doing something with GTA. But the next announcement that they made, and I'm not going to go in chronological order for all of this, but because I know that this was the next thing, and I think you're both going to be excited for this. I'm not positive. New Spider-Man.
Oh, fuck yes. I am so ready.
New Spider-Man, and you're playing as Miles Morales.
Uh-huh.
I just want to say, the first game I ever played on a Sony product was Spider-Man.
And I mean,
the second game was Final Fantasy.
But no, I'm super excited for Spider-Man Miles Morales because like they were setting it up in the first game, and there was a little bit of me that thought that we weren't going to actually see a continuation.
Now, something that should be clarified in this, there was a lot of confusion earlier this week on whether this new Spider-Man game was going to be an extension added onto the original or if it was going to be a standalone game. We now have confirmation that this is its own game. It's not going to be an extension of the Spider-Man game from 2018. This is its own game, and it's going to have its own stuff to it.
Speaking of games from 2018 that are getting sequels, they announced a sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn.
I was holding out on that.
And God bless, does it not look amazing?
It looks fucking awesome.
The nerdgasm was real.
The amount of announcements, game announcements they made for this that had gamers everywhere geeking out was phenomenal.
That announcement alone. When I heard that they announced Horizon Zero Dawn 2, I was well, I guess I'm buying a PlayStation 5.
It's been begged for ever since the DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn came out. Everyone has been saying, we want more Aloy. We want more of this world. There's so much more story that can be told here. And patience is a virtue, ladies and gentlemen. We got it coming, and like Anvil said, God damn, mother effing gorgeous.
It looks amazing.
The PlayStation 5 specs for being able to like render these worlds is just amazing, and it's only going to keep getting better.
Speaking of rendering games, another one that got announced that personally got my attention very much so, the new Ratchet and Clank game.
Yeah, I was about to mention that one. I know there's a lot of people who are fans of Ratchet and Clank, and a brand new Ratchet and Clank game is amazing. And just from the reveal trailer of A Rift Apart alone, they have shiny, reflective metal rendering of Clank. It's great.
Doesn't it look gorgeous?
It looks fucking amazing.
I just want to say, the only reason I bought a PlayStation 3 was for the Ratchet and Clank collection.
And I'm going to say, similar to Anvil, the first PlayStation Portable that I bought, the first game that I got, aside from what came with the Portable, was Ratchet and Clank. And I love that title. I love that series. I enjoyed the movie, oddly enough, and I am so excited for this game because it looks so gorgeous.
Anyone else hoping they bring?
And there's a female Ratchet.
Anyone else hoping that they bring back the sheep gun?
I mean,
is that not
I'll be disappointed.
Is that not a standard in almost every game?
I mean, you could hope so, but there are other game series that have removed a staple for no reason. Looking at you, Pokemon.
Where's my fucking Snorlax?
I'm just mad about them taking out megas for this last one. Like, I get that you wanted Dynamax
that
Pokemon.
Wasn't a staple, dude.
No, that was not a staple.
One game, and it was kind of awful.
Excuse me, it was in 3 fucking games.
The same set.
No.
Excuse me.
X and Y.
2 games.
It was in X and Y. It was in Alpha Ruby Omega Sapphire, and it was also in Sun and Moon.
Alright, I'll give you Sun and Moon and X and Y.
Ultra Sun and Moon,
But,
if we're being technical. So 4 games.
But I don't acknowledge the Omega Ruby and Sapphire having Mega Evolution simply because it's a remake of a game that they had already made and they added in new things.
And real quickly here, and I realize that I never played them, so I might be reaching here, but X and Y, didn't those have, oh wait, no, never mind, I'm gonna shut up now. I already answered my question.
Okay.
Anyways, has anyone seen the little video for Deathloop?
For Deathloop? I don't know if I actually got to that one. I was watching the reveal stuff at work, and so I didn't actually get to pay attention to all of them.
Okay, so let me pitch this to you. You're playing as a bounty hunter in a city that basically is kind of like Las Vegas on steroids, but not all betting. It's an entertainment hub. And the goal is to basically kill everybody in there, and every time you die, you restart back. It's an infinite time loop. And the catch here is you're fighting off against another bounty hunter who is trying to achieve the same thing you are.
Okay.
But it looks fantastic. It's got a very cartoony vibe to it for the graphics, and just the variety of weapons and the playstyle for it really caught my attention.
Can we just take a second to recognize and enjoy how far gaming has come to the point where we have, we can say that there's a very cartoony effect to the art style, when once upon a time, like your games were 8-bit. But
Sure.
There was no real art style to it.
He's not wrong. No, I can appreciate how much gaming has evolved over the years.
If we want to talk about cartoonish games that were announced, Destruction All Stars, that one's looking to be a frickin' bonkers setup.
I don't understand that game.
It's pretty much a destruction derby where if your car gets destroyed, you can still run around and steal other cars.
Well, looking at the trailer for this, I'm not gonna lie, because I was doing it in a view party with a Twitch streamer. We were all kind of hoping that this was going to be some sort of weird sequel for shit.
Rocket League.
Thank you. And I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't complain with some sort of update for Rocket League. I think that it could do just as well as the original.
Probably.
But that's just me.
I don't think it's going to be that similar to Rocket League, because Rocket League is soccer with cars.
Mm-hmm.
This is a demolition derby. You're in there to destroy the other cars.
Very true.
And kill your opponents, apparently, because it looks like you can survive your car being destroyed.
I do find it interesting that a game that they announced here is you playing as a cat in a robot world.
Which one was that?
That was Stray, coming next year. And that's all the information it gave. It just showed you a world full of robots and a cat walking around amongst them, and it inclines that you play as the cat.
a game I remember that came out for, I think it was the PlayStation 3, and you played different animals, and the whole point of the game was to just survive, and it took place in like this post-apocalyptic. I think it was like based around Shibuya.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember for the life of me what it was called. I'm gonna have to look this up.
Another one that I am very interested in, Jet the Far Shore looks really cool. I don't remember what that one's about, but I remember that it brought a lot of interest to everyone who was watching it. There appears to be
It was called Tokyo Jungle.
Okay then.
It was a survival action game, and it was you basically play it deserted futuristic Tokyo in which the city is transformed into a vicious wildlife wasteland, and you play as an animal and you try and survive for as long as you can, and the longer you survive, and completing certain things unlocks different animals to play as.
Well, that sounds like fucking fun.
It was amazingly fun. And I feel like Stray might be similar in premise, but I don't know if it's going to be a survival game. It doesn't sound like it's going to be a survival game.
Yeah, but considering how little information we were given on it, we can't really speculate as to what the game is going to contain. So, I mean, for all we know, it will be a survival game. Did either of you two see the trailer for Kenya Bridge of Spirits?
I don't think so.
So.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I did see Kenya Bridge of Spirits. It looks like somebody's trying to replicate Avatar: The Last Airbender a little too hard.
Really? Because I got more of a sensation of Spirited Away a little bit.
Spirited Away?
Well, with the creatures that are around and everything, it gave me a real Spirited Away vibe. But
I'll give you that one. They do look a little bit like soot sprites.
Yeah, but I mean, that game right there really caught my interest, and I'm gonna be real interested to get my hands on that one. I think it's gonna be cool.
It does look interesting. I remember watching I was watching the trailer for that one, and all I could think of is like, it's the Avatar. You're the Avatar.
So, you want one that is just straight up weird?
Which one?
Bugs Snacks.
Bullets and Snacks?
No, Bugs Snacks. Alex.
Oh, Bug Snacks.
What about it?
Okay.
I haven't heard of it yet.
Essentially, it's got a very Animal Cross feel in the fact that the entire population is animals, and it's like a cross of Animal Crossing and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs #2, in that there's an island full of insects that are fruit, and the basic premise that I could get from this is there's going to be a huge ass Frankenstein-esque fruit monster that is going to be going around killing everybody.
Cool.
Huh. Weird.
Well, I did say it was weird, so.
Yeah, I was looking at the images for it. Speaking of weird stuff, one of the games they announced is Ghostwire Tokyo, which looks like it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be primarily a VR, but that's definitely what the perspective of all the trailers makes it look like. And it looks like it's going to be a very, very accurate rendition of Tokyo.
Yeah, that was scary good with the graphics. It looked real good.
So that's probably the best one to showcase the processing power of the PlayStation 5.
Another one that I'm really excited for, Oddworld Soulstorm.
Oh, yes. I was waiting for
That
us to get to Oddworld.
That looks weird, but it looks interesting. It's got I think it's basically, if I remember correctly, is it like a weird 2D/3D platformer?
Essentially. Hey, Anvil,
Okay.
what's going on your end?
You're probably hearing the chickens pecking at their frickin' thing.
No,
We
we're
have
hearing a lot.
guineas.
We're hearing a lot of heavy breathing, buddy.
I didn't know that my mic was picking up my breathing from that far away. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
Sounded like geriatric Darth Vader. No, anyway, Oddworld Soulstorm. Yeah, Oddworld is kind of this 3D platformer style gameplay, and I loved from the reveal trailer for it that it's going to retain a lot of the same gameplay of the original Oddworld series games, which is pretty cool. It looks like it's going to be taking... I'm not sure where in the series after everything this is going to be taking place, but it's got Abe as the protagonist, so it's definitely a sequel.
Well, considering that I had never heard of Oddworld to begin with, this trailer really caught my attention, so I'm curious about it.
It's a good series. I would definitely recommend it to new players. Granted, I haven't played an Oddworld game since I think Abe's Odyssey,
Oh, okay.
which is a little bit old at this point.
True.
I'm pretty sure I have a magazine from like 2006 that's got an ad for it in it.
All right. What do you think of Pragmata?
I didn't actually get a chance to watch that one.
So the basic gist on that one, that was another really weird trailer. It shows an astronaut with a little girl, and the entire setting that they're in suddenly shatters, and it looks as if they go through some sort of warp or something, and suddenly they're on the surface of the moon.
Huh.
Also, there is a translucent cat that makes it appear somewhere in this, and when I say translucent, I mean you can see the internal organs and everything, and it's Alex.
Yes.
Again, buddy, it sounds as if you're a geriatric TV here, buddy.
I don't think it's me, guys.
Okay.
Well, it's not coming in from my end.
I'm turning off my mic in between talking.
Okay, well, I don't know then.
Anyway, but back to the Pragmata. Looking at the images and everything, it looks very Hideo Kojima, but it doesn't look like he's involved in it at all, which is very strange to me.
Now,
Maybe he's writing. Maybe he's doing it under a ghostwriter.
another one that I'm not going to be interested in unless I get to play it someone else's system, or if it becomes free on PlayStation Network. Hitman 3.
I could take it or leave it. I've never been a huge fan of the Hitman series.
What about you, Alex? Is Hitman something that you were interested in?
I was gonna say that one. I'm pretty excited with. I like the Hitman series.
I thought you would be. For some reason, I thought that I'd seen you play Hitman before, so I thought that you would really enjoy it when that one got announced.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about number 3. I was a little disappointed with the last Hitman game because it was, I don't know, didn't have the same feel that the Hitman games had in the past. So I'm excited for number 3 because I'm hoping it'll be more along
Back
the
to roots.
traditional lines. Yeah.
not honestly the one I'm most excited for. Aside from the ones that had games that I played before and liked, the new game that's coming out that I've never seen before that I am most excited for is Godfall, because the reveal trailer for that looked awesome.
Godfall. I remember hearing about it. I don't know anything about it off the top of my head, and I am looking for it.
Sick armor plus awesome weapons plus hack and slash equals win.
Yeah, how do I describe this? It definitely caught my attention, but not as much as everything else in the announcement. It's definitely something that I'm willing to give a shot to, but I need to know more information.
I definitely want to know more information about it, but it looks awesome nonetheless, and it's definitely one of the ones I'm going to try and get my hands on.
We've covered a lot of the games that got announced here. At least in terms of the games that I was personally interested in and remember something on.
The last one I could think of that was super of note was they announced a Little Big Planet spinoff with Sackboy: A Big Adventure.
Yeah, I saw that. That one I kind of went meh on because I've never played Little Big Planet.
Yeah, but still, it's of note. Resident Evil 8 Village was of note. Gran Turismo 7, if you're into racing games.
Are you interested at all in Goodbye Volcano High?
Not particularly. It does not look like it's going to be a game series that I'm going to be a game type that I'm going to be interested in. Goodbye Volcano High looks almost as if it's going to be like a visual novel style. And
yeah, it read it a lot as a story-based game. That's why I thought of you.
I generally only am interested if there's like some sort of supernatural element to things, and it just looks like it's gonna be slice of life with dinosaurs
leading up to a huge meteor destroying the entire planet and all life on it in way for the Homo sapiens.
Yeah, like I'll pass.
Yeah, I kind of feeling the same on that.
I have no great desire to watch Dinosaur High School followed by End of the World.
So, with all of that being said, and everything that we now have hard confirmations on, just out of curiosity,
playing what takes place after the end of the world for the dinosaurs. Man, give me Dinosaur High School. The world ends halfway through high school, and then you have to try to survive the Ice Age as a dinosaur who's cold-blooded. Like, that's a game I would love.
Always gotta look for those obscure versions for Alex.
Yeah, Anvil, I'm pretty sure they made that game. Pretty sure it was the movie tie-in of Ice Age 3.
I actually forgot that they made a game for that one.
I'm not actually sure whether or not they made a game for that one.
I think they did. I think I remember that. I never played it, but
I was just banking on the fact that they made a tie-in movie tie-in video game.
So, anyways, with everything that has been hard announced and hard confirmed by either PlayStation or a developer, out of curiosity for everyone here, what are we most excited for? Is it hardware? Is it game?
Definitely the games.
Any game?
I'm definitely going to have to say it's probably going to be Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah.
Alright, so we got Horizon for Anvil. Is there a certain game here that has your money already, Zephyr?
Definitely Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing the suit upgrade or suit options they give us for that one. Because if they don't have multiple suit options for Miles, I'm a riot.
For me, me, it's going to be a combination of both your answers. I can't wait to get back to playing as Aloy, and in the same breath, touring around New York City as Miles sounds like a hell of a lot of fun.
Also, it seems like Spider-Man Miles Morales might deviate from the original Ultimates storyline for Spider-Man, for the comics, because in the original, Peter Parker dies, and that's why Miles takes over the mantle as Spider-Man. But I don't think Peter's gonna die in this one.
No, I don't think that Peter's going to die in this one either, because in the DLC for the Spider-Man game, we obviously have great influence and knowledge that Peter is training Miles to be his own version of Spider-Man. And at this point, based off the stuff in the trailer, we don't have anything hinting towards the death of Peter Parker.
Right. So I'm wondering are we going to see Peter retire, or are we going to see two Spider-Men coexisting?
I'm leaning closer towards the second one, with more of a master and apprentice feel in the beginning, followed up with partners at the end.
Okay, fair. What about you, Anvil? What do you think? Anvil. Anvil.
I forgot my mic was off.
You think he realizes he just muted himself? Give it a minute.
I wasn't going to say anything.
So, I never really got the opportunity to play the new Spider-Man game, and I never saw the DLC, and I haven't seen the trailer, so I'm not sure, but I'm kind of excited for the idea of Miles Morales, and I feel like whichever way they go, it'll be fun.
So, what I'll tell you that you'll see in the trailer, we have a confirmation that he's got some level of control of his cloaking power. He has his spider stainer power, and I don't know, Zephyr, did you see any specific bad guy in the trailer, or did you just see a whole lot of Miles?
I don't know if they showed off any particular bad guys. It looked like they might be bringing the Prowler into things and everything, so that's pretty on brand.
So there's going to be a lot of interest here, and I will say, Anvil, because I think that I can't believe you haven't played it yet. I highly recommend that you get your hands on that game and just enjoy burning 30-40 hours scrolling around New York City. And there's a lot of collectible stuff in there too, so it'll keep you occupied for a while.
Yeah, I might have to go pick up Spider-Man again just to play it through again, just because it was a hell of a fun game. And unlocking all the suits was really awesome.
Yeah.
There's some pretty legit powers that you unlock with the suits. I'm wondering if they're going to have the same thing with Miles and have different powers tied to certain suits.
All of the Spider-Man games were that way, though. I mean, like, each suit had its own perks, powers, weaknesses.
Shattered Dimensions wasn't like that, but that was just because you
never played that one.
that was just because you played as all the different Spider-Men, depending on what part you were in. And each universe had its own specific gameplay style. Like the main Spidey universe was a bit closer to our traditional Spider-Man games. When you went to Spider-Man 2099, it was pretty much just a brawler beat 'em up. And Spider-Man Noir's universe was 100% stealth.
See, and that's the other thing that I'm actually kind of curious about. Do you think that there's a possibility that this Spider-Man game with Miles Morales, do you think that it's going to have vibes of Into the Spider-Verse?
I don't think so. I don't know if that's the direction they're going. It would definitely be interesting to see them have some nods to Into the Spider-Verse, because obviously that's probably where most of the gamers that are going to be picking up this game know Miles from.
Yeah. And because I'm curious, because you just mentioned off a couple of them that were in that movie, I would be real curious specifically to see if we were to get some sort of inclination of that movie into the game. Do you think there's a possibility we might get to see Spider-Gwen?
I don't know.
If we don't, I'll be disappointed.
Because we've had a couple of spin-offs already showing us a relationship between Miles and Gwen. And I think especially right now, a lot of newer generation Spider-Man fans don't look at Peter Parker and Gwen and go, okay, that was Peter Parker's real first love. They look at Gwen now and they say, that's Miles Morales' first love.
It honestly depends. It's hit or miss. I think some people are looking at the Into the Spider-Verse and being like they can foresee a relationship developing between Miles and Gwen. But honestly, most people didn't realize about Gwen Stacy and Spider-Man's relationship back when the Sam Raimi movies came out, because all they ever knew was Spider-Man and MJ. Because the Sam Raimi movies basically decided to jump ahead straight to MJ.
And for the record, for those of you that don't know us, we're big comic book nerds, so we're pretty familiar with the whole Spider-Man universe, multiverse.
Spider-Man is one subject that I can speak on length about. He's probably the best in terms of the Marvel universe that I have a good knowledge base on.
Yeah, our background of knowledge lends to us getting off topic a lot. Honestly, that would be the name of the podcast if it wasn't already taken.
Yeah, well,
Off topic.
just a quick plug to our friends, or well, not friends, but our enjoyment of Rooster Teeth and Achievement Hunter.
It's okay, UA. You can call them senpai.
Screw it, yeah, you're not wrong. That's my admiration, and that's where I want to go in life. I want to be AAH level.
That was definitely a notice me senpai moment.
Yeah, I know, and I just swallowed it and I took it.
Anyway, but yeah, I'm excited, looking forward to my Spider-Man Miles Morales, and I'm really excited just looking forward to the PlayStation 5's generation, just because I feel like the games that are going to come out for it are going to be very memorable, and just looking back at a lot of the stuff we got on the PlayStation 4, even for stuff that wasn't launch titles, we got a lot of good games coming out for the PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4.
If there's one thing that the PlayStation 4 exceeded on where the Xbox One failed, it was titles specifically for the console. And I feel like that is something that PlayStation needs to continue to rely heavily on if they are going to do just as well with this generation as they did with the previous.
One of the things I'm hoping for with PlayStation 5, at least for the generation, is maybe they'll give us another good Digimon game on the PlayStation 5, just because they've rebooted the original series currently airing, and Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, those games were pretty near and dear to my heart. And I think Digimon World Next Order was also pretty good. But I'd like to see a PlayStation 5 gen Digimon game and see where they go with that.
That being said, with the console-specific games, something I do appreciate, both consoles were pretty solid about it. I take that back. Xbox was more solid about it than Sony. When you have games that release on your console and the PC, that's something I really appreciate, because a lot of people prefer to game with a keyboard than a controller.
Fair.
True.
And Xbox has been very solid at least in the last couple of years, is also comes out for anyone who has Windows 10 can play it.
I'm sure that has nothing to do with the fact that Windows and Xbox are owned by the same company.
Well, it's specifically because of that. But that being said, and Sony used to be better about it than they are now, because they partner with Steam pretty closely. They used to be a lot better about making sure that their games came out on PC as well. I'd love to see more of that.
I mean, every console generation is going to have exclusives.
And it's also something that PlayStation has actually gotten a little bit better in the last couple of years. They actually, within the last 12 months, they released Horizon Zero Dawn for PC usage. I know that because a friend of mine at work I would not shut up about Horizon Zero Dawn to him for the longest time. And he finally got it because it came out on PC, and he's more of a PC gamer than a PlayStation gamer.
Yeah. I can understand the want to have, like, multi-platform launches for most games. Because, most people want to be able to enjoy a game regardless of whether or not they own the console that game launched on. And so I feel like exclusives should move more toward we're going to launch it on this title, on this console first, and that's the exclusive console, and then maybe a few months later you get it on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, whichever ones it didn't release on initially.
And the only thing that I will add on to all of this is there obviously, we covered it a little bit at the beginning. There's been a lot of talk on both sides, Xbox and PlayStation, for the consumer demand for backwards compatibility with the newest generation system. Sony, if you want to stay ahead of Xbox or stay with Xbox, please give us backwards compatibility. Everything does not need to be remastered, but if you give us access to that entire library spanning all the way back to PlayStation, GG everybody. I know so many people who will be happy with that.
I cannot tell you how awesome it would be to buy a PlayStation 5 and be able to pop in my Monster Rancher 3 or Burnout Takedown disc into the PlayStation 5 and just be able to play it.
Well, me personally, I'm thinking Digimon Rumble Arena 2 for PlayStation 2.
Oh.
I'm thinking Transformers, War of Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron. The ability to play those games again without having to get a PS3. Oh my god.
Or the ability to pop in, for instance, I don't know, Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2.
Well, I mean, for those, we're talking the original editions. We're not talking the final mixes that are included with the latest launch.
Which are not the same game. And a lot of people like the newer ones, and yes, they have updated graphics, but they also change certain things. And the reason why I like original games is because there's still the occasional glitch and the exploitable glitches and every little Easter egg is still there.
I really don't remember Kingdom Hearts 2 or Kingdom Hearts 1 having very many exploitable glitches or Easter eggs.
Oh, they have a lot.
I know one did. One was a hell of a lot harder than the final mix version of it.
I mean, fair. I'll give you that one. Kingdom Hearts 1 was definitely a hell of a lot harder than Final Mix. But, I don't know. I like the Final Mix versions of pretty much all the Kingdom Hearts games better just because there's a lot of quality of life improvements that go in to those games when they release the Final Mix version. And don't get me wrong, the original Kingdom Hearts will always be very near and dear to my heart, but some of that game is broken. So broken. I'm looking at you, what the heck's the name of the world? It's the Peter Pan world, but it's not the same name as it has in Birth by Sleep.
Yeah, no, because it's not Neverland. It's the ship.
Right. That world's camera was fucking broken.
Yeah, well,
it was so bad.
That's what you got with the generation at the time and the ability at the time. So.
Anyway, I think on that note, we've gotten sufficiently off topic to end the episode. So
what else is new?
I'll start with Anvil. Where can we find you?
Usually eating something or setting something on fire. But most reliable place to find me is on the Xbox, the Anvil O.
And UA, where can they find you?
You can find me hosting Journey to the East podcast with Zephyr Zero by my side. You can find me doing a whole bunch of work behind the scenes of Duck Say Quack Entertainment. We have our Facebook page, we have our YouTube page. You can find me any of those places as well. You can find me on PlayStation Network under Black Lanes Roman numeral 13 XIII, and basically wherever you can where anyone is willing to put up with me.
And as always, I'm your host, Zephyr Zero, and this has been Softlock Podcast, part of Duck Say Quack Entertainment. And you can find us on YouTube at Duck Say Quack Entertainment. You can also find us on Anchor and anywhere that podcasting service distributes to. Go ahead and give them a listen. And we'll see you next time on Softlock Podcast.